and welcome to this week's Author Spotlight. I am Rebecca Ford, and this week I am so privileged to have with us Terri McFarland. Terri, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. It's so nice to be here with you.
And this is your first book that you have out. It's out on Amazon now. So the name of it is When Faith Dares. Discover the power of courage to stay the course when you'd rather bail. I can tell you that I think that every single person out there can relate to this book, that we've just had times in our Christian walk where we wondered where God was or what he was doing with our life and the path that we're on. So I'm excited for you, Terri, to tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, thank you very much, Rebecca. I mean, surely this has been years in the making as I'm no longer in my 20s, but I have discovered over the years that every day people encounter situations that cause them to doubt if the Lord is paying attention to their pain. And I know in my story, sudden loss and disappointment are unsettling, if not for daring to believe that God is who he says he is. The continued heartbreak that I've had would cause me to lose hope, and I'd want to bail on everything I'd hold true. But I have learned that I can be assured it's absolutely possible to walk out a life of faith in the middle of heart. Because when faith dares, and this is what it looks like, when faith dares will take you on a journey that winds its way through unexpected loss and rejection and destructive behavior. Living single most of my life, I wanted to believe the Bible was true, even while facing illness and betrayal. In this book, you'll discover how to dare break through fear, how to dare step out in faith, and how to dare stay the course, even when failure appears inevitable. Woven into every chapter, there are stories from the text that will challenge what you hold true about God while daring you to trust him. The uniqueness of my story will embolden and encourage you to dare accept God is who he says he is, and that he longs for us to know him. For in that knowing, our lives are transformed. When Faith Dares will inspire your soul, ultimately drawing you into a more beautiful relationship with Jesus Christ. I mean, as Rebecca said, you want to check it out.
Well, I'm curious to know, was it therapeutic for you to write this book, or did it trigger a lot of emotions? What was it like writing a memoir for you?
Well, it's kind of like a memoir, and it's kind of a little bit different than that, but it's surely going through different stories in my life and how we can then walk out our own. So it's a little bit of Christian living in that as well. And so at times, it certainly made me search and look into my heart and listen to the Lord to see what is it that he's actually teaching me and showing me and revealing to me about my own heart as I'm writing.
Did you want to write it?
Well, I did want to write it, and I actually started writing it a long time ago, thinking I would be writing a book about being single and what it's like to be single into your 50s or something like that. And I thought that was the direction it was going to go. And so I began that, and God had a different plan, and it unveiled something that I never expected, and yet was very helpful for me to see in even a better way the heart of Jesus.
So as you were writing it, and as you stated, it took you a while to get it all down on paper. Were there ever times that you just thought, this is for me, it's not for the world out there, and I'm not going to get it published? What made you decide to take the step to get it published?
Well, that's interesting because I had different people around me, and I kept pursuing people who know more than I do. And I got a hold of a wonderful editor, and Ginger Kolbaba, and she encouraged me because we talked about all different options of what to do with this book. And through her encouragement, she's like, this is a story that needs to be told. This is a book that will be helpful for people going through really hard things. And how do we not give up? How does our commitment to the Lord and daring to trust him in hard, how does that happen? And so she encouraged me to do it. And then it was just a matter of being willing to take steps. She kept saying to me, she said, your book is about daring faith. Are you going to dare in faith to actually publish this? And I said, oh, that's a good one. I think I need to listen to that.
You can't, I was going to say, you can't run from that question. That's pretty in your face. So what do you hope is the biggest blessing from this book now that it's published? What do you want to see happen with it?
Well, I'm already starting to hear from people who have read it, and it's kind of hitting a market that I was hopeful about, because for years I spent time as an athlete and a teacher and a coach, and I was with young people, teenagers, 20-somethings for the majority of my life. And so, however, currently I deal more with women. I do women's events and teach women's Bible studies. And so I kind of thought, well, that's probably my target. And now I'm starting to hear from a wide range of people, from athletes to college athletes to young people to women to older people. And so it's resonating because life is hard. Life is hard at no matter what age. And even as we talked before this, in the uncertainty that we are currently walking in our culture and in our world and in our surroundings, it's so easy to just say, forget it, I'm going to cancel it, I'm going to go away from this. If this book can be an encouragement to people to trust God is who he says he is, and be drawn to his heart in a more beautiful way, that's what I hope happens. I hope that is what it's transformational in people's lives in such a way that it changes how they see God. And maybe I think growing up as a daughter of a pastor, for a long time, I think I had a view of God that fit really nicely in my own box. And as I grew older and dared to trust him, all of a sudden the sides of the box were blowing off, and I thought, oh no, this doesn't match what I've been told and what I know or what I thought. And that's daring in itself, to be able to say, will I truly believe who God says he is throughout the text? And that is, it changes your worldview. It changes how you see God. And as A.W. Tozer would say, it's the most important thing about you.
So your book, it'd be great for Bible studies, for book groups. And how can they find it?
You can find it at Amazon, for one, When Faith Dares, but you can go to whenfaithdares.com, and that website will take you to a place where you can read a little bit more about what the book is, and you can order it off of the site. You can link to Amazon. We have an ebook available. The audiobook is right in the process of, we're getting towards the end of that, but that should be available within the next month or two as well. So we've got a few different surprises still coming down the pipes, but that is one way, or a few different ways, that you can actually find the book.
Excellent. And I do want to mention to our audience that this is your first book. You had not written a book before. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I didn't really know how to write, and my editor was so gracious that I had given her a manuscript, because I had just put a whole lot of stuff together, and I give her a full done book as I thought. And she goes, all right, see, I was a high school math teacher for my career. I was not an English person. And so she started at the beginning with great patience with me and said, let's talk about how we write. And walking through people who know what they're doing, it was so helpful for me. And I think, having been an athlete, a teacher, and a coach, I was used to people saying, that isn't how you do something, you need to do it like this, and trusting what they said and following what they said. So it never bothered me when she said, okay, I'm going to send back this chapter and it's going to be full of red stuff. And
Mhm.
I said, okay, that's good. I was willing to just say, you guys know better than me. And I will trust that process, which is probably why I enjoyed working with EABooks so much.
Yeah, now, how did you come to work with EABooks?
Well, I had gone to a Christian writers conference in Michigan a number of years ago, and I had met with a number of different agents and publishers, just starting to feel out the process. And I also met with a guy from EABooks who was at the conference just to hear about it, and I got information. And then as the process went on and I had more conversations about, do I want to traditionally publish, because I had an agent, I had people who were interested, do I want to traditionally publish or do I want to self-publish? And
Mhm.
having been a recording artist for a number of years, I had already self-published, so to say, my own CDs and music, etc. So this seemed like a natural fit for where I was and what I had gone through, and especially for this first book. And so I then turned away from the traditional publishing route and communicated with EABooks, and was impressed with the commitment to excellence
Mm.
and the experience over the decades of doing what EABooks publishing does in such a great way that I felt so comfortable about partnering with you.
Um, I love hearing those stories, and I think it's such an encouragement to others out there that you will find the right path for you, whether it's traditional or it's independent. Um, and I just think it's fabulous that you came along with us. What are some encouraging words to end the interview that you would like to give to first-time writers out there?
Well, I think what has really helped me from the beginning is pretty much the basis of even this book. Will I dare listen to the Lord and follow his leading? Because it's easy, whether it's in music, whether it's in writing, to think, I just need to forge this on my own because I'm just doing this. And it's very possible you can come up with some wonderful, wonderful product in whatever genre you're in. At the same time, for me, what was helpful for me was to know that I was following the Lord well,
Mm.
and that I was following where he was leading. And that took, for in my part, that took me being able to sit and listen to, um, and then not just listen, because we can all hear things, we can even understand them at times, and we can be moved, but will we obey what we hear? Will we shema? Will we listen in such a way that it changes us? And I know that even in some of the other things that the Lord has allowed me to be a part of, traveling to the Middle East
Mm.
and helping facilitate trips to the lands of the Bible, that I have seen the Bible come alive, and I've seen the heart of God in a way I never expected. And committing to follow his lead, even if it doesn't seem right to
Mhm.
our minds,
Mhm.
that to follow where he's going. And so it's taking that time out to listen, to put some really good people around you, and to dig into the text in a way that it transforms you, will better allow you to have a clearer understanding of where God is leading and the power of courage that he will give you to walk out what he's called you to do.
Amen. Amen. Again, the book is called When Faith Dares. Discover the Power of Courage to Stay the Course When You'd Rather Bow by Terri McFarland. And you are available for speaking. So I just encourage everyone to go on Amazon, get a hold of Terri through her website that she mentioned earlier, if you'd like to hear her speak or to order her book, and just to be an encouragement to her. I want to thank you, Terri, for joining us today.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Mhm.